In the years that I've been involved with lean, working with different companies, I've seen a pattern with failure and with success. And really, a lot of it comes down to basic business models. My first vocation in life was actually as a martial arts instructor. I taught Taekwondo out of college, and I won 2 national championships and fought a lot of tournaments. And I always told my students, really, success in competition or in self-defense for that matter came down to basic skills, practicing and proficiency at the basics. The ability to go through, say, 4 boards with a sidekick came from understanding the basics for generating force and getting the most out of a technique. So adherence to that. It comes the same thing for being a musician or any athlete or any skill, understanding the basics and mastering the basics. And when I started working with lean and working with projects, usually with companies trying to fix a problem, often I would start by doing a value stream map and looking at all the activities, connections, and flows. And more often than not, we found very basic, simple things that were broken. It wasn't anything lofty or very complex. It was a simple thing that had been overlooked. And I'm going to go through a sort of a pattern and show you how an evolution kind of takes place that leads to complexity and problems that I've seen. One example, I can remember doing a project of there were some problems in a supply chain. The problems with shipping a product, foreign and domestic. And I mentioned this in some of my books and articles. When I did a value stream map with a group looking for problems, we found that a lot of their activities that they worked by, a lot of their processes, were designed 16 years ago and hadn't been changed. Well, lots happened in the past 16 years. So those were so out of date, they had problems where they had connections where product would stay for days before moving. If you look at how information is supposed to flow upstream to signal pull to the customer, it was non-existent. And these are the basics that I often find. So how do businesses, when they begin, start heading down this path of overcomplexity? One of the patterns that I typically see is, let's say that we open a pizza business, we open this nice pizza restaurant and we are customer focused. We want to grow our business. So it's all about taking care of the customer, delivering the best pizza we can, and when that customer leaves happy, we did great. Well, our business thrives and it grows and it slowly gets bigger and bigger and bigger to where we've got 5 restaurants, 10, 20, 30. Now we've become a chain like Pizza Hut where we have lots and lots of them. And I'm not saying this about Pizza Hut, but I'm giving you a pattern that I have seen many times. With growth, what happens is they don't plan for the growth, and so layers are built in and complexity is built in and gaps start to show up, so they hire people and they start to piecework things, and you end up with silos and layers of complexity. And to make it even a little bit worse, as the business itself grows, it takes on an entity in its own and causes what I call the 180-degree turn. And what the 180-degree turn is, at some point, that focus that I mentioned at the beginning was all on the customers, switches and now the focus is on the business. Where we used to use all our energy and focus to take care of the customer, now our focus and energy is on business and profit. And we look to the customer to supply that revenue to generate that profit and that growth. So where our focus was on them, on the customer, now it's flipped 180 degree and it's on the business. Where we used to do everything to take care of the customer, now we use the customer to take care of the business. So it's a failed business model from the go. We have to remember, when I'm talking about basics, every business is in a symbiotic relationship that is 3 components. It is in a relationship with its suppliers, its customers, and its employees. And any business decisions that go against one of those components, if you have a decision that works against your employees, your customers, or your suppliers, it needs to be viewed as cancer to the organization. It will hurt that relationship. It will hurt that organism, which is your business, that symbiotic relationship. It's like cancer. A lot of the things that lead to cancer in the beginning, the smoking, the bad food, whatever, has an instantaneous reward. It tastes good, it feels good, whatever. But with practice down the road, it's going to lead to possibly death, and these practices will lead to the death of the business. And when a business succeeds, we all benefit. When businesses fail, we all suffer from it. With our economy, if we can help create an atmosphere for businesses to succeed, again, we all thrive in that. Even our competition, we need that. You know, there needs to be an Apple to the Microsoft and a Microsoft to the Apple. We need that competition. We need to look at that. We need to look at our businesses from that symbiotic relationship on, again, what's best for our employees, what's best for our customers, and what's best for the suppliers. If we are looking at it that way, if we've got the concept to our customers, employees, and suppliers that, you know, I've got your back and you've got mine, we have just created a very powerful business model in that, you know, we are loyal to the brands that we enjoy and we like. You know, a Harley Davidson motorcycle rider wouldn't even think about riding a different brand bike. I mean, there's a lot of loyalty when they have your emblem tattooed on their body somewhere. And there are only really two ways to lead, by manipulation or by loyalty. And manipulation won't take you very far. The interesting thing is, in business and in life, for that matter, a little bit of manipulation is okay. We're used to it. You know, that pickup line in the bar, you know, him or her coming up to that other person and throwing out their best line, they know it's manipulative. They're just trying to get their attention. Same with marketing, that email subject line, trying to get you to open it. We know it's out there. It's just trying to get our attention, and we're okay with that. But afterwards, you know, it better be backed by truth and by loyalty and by service and by providing something of value to us. If not, then we're not okay with it. Again, the breaking the ice, a little bit of manipulation, that's okay, but then it better be backed by something with substance that serves a purpose and will add value to my life. If not, again, our opinion of it quickly changes, and it goes from a good thing to a bad thing really fast. Again, greed, unfortunately, as that 180 takes place and complexity is built into the business, it creates a very good avenue for greed to take place. And here's what I mean. In business, again, if you've got that business model where you're looking at those three components, again, taking care of your employees, your suppliers, and your customers, you need to weave three things, three what I call pillars of success into your business. And those are simplicity, directness, and engagement. If you apply that to every business decision, every avenue, then you're going to find it creates a very healthy business, like clean arteries in your system. You know, you're going to have good flow, you're going to have good growth, you're going to have good control, and you're going to have transparency. And what I mentioned before was, say, the pizza business, you know, that's growing and growing, and now we have to do patchwork to handle the growth, you know, adding layers and this and that. Well, we end up with complexity, we end up with disconnects, and we end up with the opposite of transparency. And this creates an avenue where you can create sort of a shell game. It creates camouflage, where decisions can be made that go against the best interests of employees, suppliers, or the customer. But because you don't see it, you've got that shell game, you've got that camouflage, you don't have the transparency, you don't find out until way down the road, and again, there's problems. Again, greed is there. We need to protect each other, and one of the ways to do that with that growth is simplicity, directness, and engagement. If you have engagement with your customers where they're looking out for you, you know, they hear about a new competition, they love doing business with you. You know, the restaurants that I enjoy eating at, I want them to stay in business. The people that I enjoy buying my cars from, I want them to stay in business. You know, I want to keep benefiting from their business. You know, we want to warn those. We're very social beings. We like looking out for those that we are connected to in some way. We need to go back to business basics. Again, we need to look out for our employees. We need to look out for our customers and our suppliers. If we're doing what's right for them, then you're going to find all types of help and momentum to keep your business going. But once complexity builds in, once that cancer starts, once there's camouflage where decisions can be made behind closed doors that go directly against your employees, directly against the customers and suppliers, there's going to be a problem. And we see this with big business, and we see this with our government. Again, a lot of the decisions being made this week by government go directly against the people they serve. But we don't know about it. There's no transparency. There's no engagement. So by the time we hear about it, damage is done. Again, we need to go back to the basics. Look at your own business. Again, do you have simplicity? Do you have directness? Do you have an open door policy? Can people communicate? Can they go over layers directly to the people that they need to be able to talk to without being chewed out by someone because their toes were stepped on? If you have leaders, that's not going to be a problem. If a leader is looking at themselves as a coach and a mentor helping, then again, that's not going to be an issue. If their mentality is they're the boss, and you've already got a layer and a bit of cancer there. So hopefully this video challenged you. Look at your own business. Again, look at it from the standpoint of protecting your customers, your suppliers, and your employees. Looking at from adding directness, simplicity, engagement. If you don't have the engagement of everybody, then there's an issue there. If you don't have directness, between your activities where they're connected in a positive manner with triggers and good feedback loops, then you've got a real problem going there also. Simplicity with everything. Look at complexity as an enemy. It causes camouflage. It enables bad decision making that works against everybody. So again, I'd love to know what you think about this information. A lot into this video. And I'd love to hear what you think. So again, reach out to me on my website, Black Belt Lean Thinking, or put some comments down here. If you like the video, hit a like. And again, I'd love to get a conversation going on this. I'd love to hear from you. Ryan McCorder, Black Belt Lean Thinking.